Hi, welcome to Conspiracy Cases. My name is Jeff Dixon and I'm your host as we dig into and look at and explore some conspiracies, some cover-ups, some stuff that people hear, read, and it doesn't quite make sense. And before long, they're developing elaborate stories that go along with it, and it makes you pause and think, is somebody hiding something from me? This is where we take an honest look at some of those very real conspiracies, those cover-ups. But when we get to the end, and perhaps most important, is we make a spiritual point that allows us to not necessarily answer, in all cases, whether or not the conspiracy is true or not true. That might actually leave you more questions. But it does give you a life lesson that you can learn from and apply it to your everyday life right now, which sometimes is wildly entertaining as well. This is the Mattress Factor. If you were to travel to Houston, Dallas, Phoenix, Los Angeles, Chicago, or Massachusetts, you would see a national mattress company that you just can't avoid if you live in the United States of America. The company is Mattress Firm. Mattress Firm. But in each of the cities I just named, if you were to take the time to Google, you would discover that Mattress Firm has mattress stores in close proximity to each other in each of those cities. As a matter of fact, if you were to go to Cambridge, Massachusetts, there is a Mattress Firm literally across the street from another Mattress Firm. That means when you're driving through Cambridge, you can look to the left, you can look to the right. You never have to actually change directions. You can always make a right-hand turn into the Mattress Firm. I'm not talking about different mattress companies. I'm talking about the same company. Mattress Firm stores. Believe it or not, that's led to a conspiracy. Why are there so many of them? What's the deal with mattress firms? Why are they everywhere? Why do they end up across the street from each other? Believe it or not, there's a whole school of thought that's been developed about this particular question. Most of you never thought about Mattress Firm being a part of a grand conspiracy, yet it is, and that's why we're looking at it in our conspiracy cases. But they break down into three parts. First is over-mattrification. Now, you might be saying to yourself right now, boy, that sounds really good. Is that a real word? And the answer is no, it's not. We just made it up for this particular episode. But it's that questioning of why are all these stores everywhere. The second part of the theory has to do with the sleaze factor. From the vibes of the stores themselves to the prices you pay, something is off and sleazy about Mattress Firm. There's something wrong with the company. That's part of the conspiracy. The third element is the parent trap. And that is simply that Mattress Firm's owner might be our best shot of figuring out what really is going on behind the scenes of this mattress empire. Now, officially, no one at Mattress Firm seems to be talking about this. And if they want to call us and contact us, we're more than welcome to hear why there's so many stores. But it turns out that having this many stores close to each other might actually be a reasonable business strategy. Seth Basham is a man who works for Wedbush, an investment firm. He says in his study, their stated premise is called a relative market share. So they want to be a leading market share player in any given local market, so they can drive the economies of scale in advertising as well as distribution. So in essence, they're trying to be your first choice when buying a mattress by being your only choice. Over the last 10 years, they've been buying out regional chain after chain after chain of mattress sellers. It doesn't cost much money to keep the lights on and pay staff with this particular strategy. So, for example, Mattress Firm bought a chain named Sleepy's in 2015. They controlled more than 25% of mattress sales in the country, but they may have gotten in over their heads. The results are what they might be calling an unmitigated disaster. And as a result, Mattress Firm is now suing one of the two real estate executives that were previously fired from the company because the company was in financial trouble. When they bought it, they weren't given the complete information. And so all of a sudden, Mattress Firm has multiple stores because they bought out their competitors, but they became Mattress Firm stores because now they're in litigation and can't shut them down because they simply are caught up in these long leases and they had to overpay to get the franchise rights. And that happened to Mattress Firm as a company time and time again as they look to corner the market. Pretty nasty business. That would be the over-mattrification that's taken place. In other words, because they wanted to seize control, they made some bad investments, they made some bad deals, and now they're caught up in litigation. And as a result, because they're contractually obligated by the contracts they signed when they bought them to keep the stores open, to keep the employees paid, to keep the lights on, and the locations are intact. That's why on both sides of the street, you might just be driving in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and see a Mattress Firm store. The sleaze factor is the second one we talked about. It's an honest question. Does anybody really like shopping for a mattress? I mean, maybe you do once every 10 years. It's a lot of money. And you're never quite sure after you buy the mattress whether you paid too much. Mattresses, as you might expect, have a huge markup, around 50% for most stores. And so buying a mattress is a grudge purchase. Most people don't get excited about it. I'm going to get up this morning and I'm going to go buy a mattress today. Meaning, you can really, really mess up a mattress purchase. And even when you get it right, you're thinking, man, I wasted my money on this. Because when you buy a mattress, your social status doesn't go up. When you buy a mattress, you're not posting on Facebook that you bought a new mattress. You're not taking out an ad in the local paper or running an internet special on the fact to let the whole world know in your social media post that you buy a new mattress and you're excited about that. Mattress Firm, like many retailers, use a constant sale. There's always a sale when you buy a mattress at Mattress Firm. And as a result, they want you to feel better about your purchase. So if you spend $2,000 on a mattress, but it was marked down from $4,000, you feel okay about it. Now, was it ever worth $4,000? No. Was it ever worth $2,000? No. That $2,000 mattress is really worth only about $1,000. But due to sleazy pricing, the mattress industry is prone to do that. It's shady, no doubt about it. It's sleazy, and that's part of the problem. But the last one is interesting, the parent trap. This one actually might have some teeth. Mattress Firm is owned by Steinhoff International, which is the second largest retail company in the world right after IKEA. And surprise, surprise, Steinhoff is the subject of a massive criminal investigation. It's not about money laundering. It's actually more interesting than that. Steinhoff's dealings in South Africa, where the company is based, they've been there since 1996 when the company's founder, Bruno Steinhoff, moved there from West Germany. But the name to remember in this part of the story is Marcus Josty, who used to be Steinhoff's CEO. That was until everything went haywire. Steinhoff was one of the biggest companies on Johannesburg Stock Exchange. They employed over 50,000 people in South Africa. Their top executives spent lavishly in public. They had yachts, expensive cars, and wines. And nobody in South Africa seemed to care about this until December 5th, 2017, when Josty resigned completely out of the blue. Turns out, Steinhoff may have been brushing some financial irregularities under the bed for years. See how I did that with bed and mattress? South African police are now looking at alleged fraud. And it's facing probes from regulators and investigators around the world, and it's accused the companies of years of financial fraud. When Josty resigned, it triggered the biggest collapse in South Africa's corporate history, and the company went, so as authorities are investigating the company. Steinhoff itself has hired auditors to look into the apparent fraud of the company and track down who did it. There's questions about taxes that were paid and not paid. They don't yet know the full extent of what happened. And yet, back in August of 2016, Steinhoff made what looks like an incredibly stupid move. He bought Mattress Firm. See, we got back to the mattresses, didn't we? And he paid $2.4 billion for it, which is more than twice of what the company was valued at. So get it? This guy who's under investigation for fraud buys a company and pays twice as much as he needed to pay for the company. And right after he makes that purchase, Josty had a big falling out with one of the major suppliers of Mattress Firm, Tempur-Sealy, which hurts both companies' sales. Tempur-Sealy is now suing Mattress Firm for selling a mattress that sounds a lot like the Tempur-Pedic. And so again, there is a problem with the money. And so the question has now become in the investigation, is Mattress Firm part of a money laundering conspiracy? Is this where they've decided they're going to try to hide the funds that are being searched for? Is this the place they're going to hide the funds that are being audited? Is this the place that they're trying to hide and move the money around? So Mattress Firm may have so many stores, not because everybody needs a mattress, but because it is an elaborate money laundering scheme that's been set up by the owner to hide money, billions of dollars, while investigation. Is it true? I don't know. I do know this. There's a lot of mattress firms out there. And you know what? When you go by a Mattress Firm, do this next time you drive by. Is anybody ever in the store? I say not. Most of the time when you drive past a mattress store, there's never anybody there. And so, conspiracy theorists, love it. Here's a major company with stores all over the country, multiple stores in every city, and nobody ever seems to go in and buy a mattress. And yet, Mattress Firm still advertises. By many places, they're still respected. And yet, in the seedy background, there is this financial mess that is brewing that is yet to see the light of day. So, what's the point? Well, the point is I can't tell you the truth about Mattress Firm because all I know is what I told you. But I can tell you this, that its conspiracy theory invites skepticism and curiosity. Our spiritual journey is always calling us to be attentive and try to look for truth in the midst of deception. Jesus warned in Matthew 7:15 about false prophets who comes in sheep's clothing, but inwardly are ravenous wolves. This teaches us the importance of always seeking God's wisdom and truth in all things, instead of being swayed by what seems to be popular or expected. We must continually try to understand the truth of God in a world of deception and lies. And so, the spiritual point is this: always be on the quest for truth and don't be afraid to ask questions. Everything that we told you about Mattress Firm apparently is true. Does that make it a bad company? No. Does it mean they've done anything wrong? No. Does it mean that you can't get a good mattress from there? No. Does it mean you're going to pay too much for a mattress there? Sure. Does it mean that there's a huge markup on mattresses? Sure. Does it mean that there is an unusual amount of stores in every city that we mentioned? Yes. Does it mean that maybe, just maybe, every once in a while they'll have a customer in the store buying mattresses? You would think that would be a good thing. But at the end of the day, are they laundering money? Are they hiding something? Is it really just a front? Or is it an incredibly bad investment by a businessman who's under scrutiny and investigation for making incredibly bad investments and then trying to hide the money so that he didn't have to pay any of the taxes in any of the nations that he was involved in? Who knows? And so, the takeaway is simply to make sure that you keep your eyes open. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask good questions. And you know what? Sometimes nothing is as crazy as it sounds. Who knows? You can think about that when you lay down on your Mattress Firm mattress tonight. I look forward to joining you next time in the Conspiracy Cases.